This is Channel 12 Action News with Jerry Taft, Dan Lewis, and the Action News team.
Good evening. Tonight's search for a drowning victim on Nagawicca Lake in Delafield is over, at least for now. Authorities will look for the body of 18-year-old Ricky Peterson of Fredonia again tomorrow. But there's another story involved here about a rescuer who tonight is hospitalized. Mike Anderson is with us now with the full story on that. Mike, what happened?
Well, Dan, an Oconomowoc scuba diver searching for the body of young Peterson was rushed to St. Luke's Hospital in Milwaukee early tonight to be treated for a case of the bends. We'll tell you what that means in a moment. The diver, 27-year-old Richard Hogel, is now in a hyperbaric chamber at the hospital, as you see here. Hogel was flown to the hospital by the Flight for Life helicopter. Now, the bends or decompression sickness is a condition suffered by some divers who spend too much time in deep waters.
It results from a scuba diver, as is the situation here, staying at a depth for too long a time period. His tissues accumulate too much nitrogen, and then when he ascends to the surface, bubbles form in an attempt to release the nitrogen, and the bubbles cause symptoms as they accumulate in various tissues. Since he's on oxygen in the chamber and the bubbles are nitrogen, that provides a gradient for the nitrogen to be more quickly removed from the body. So the bubbles are made smaller and they disappear quicker.
Dr. Lassiter said Hogel will spend at least another hour in the chamber, and when he comes out, he should be okay, though he'll stay in the hospital for a couple of days, Dan.
I know they said the body was lost in about 80 feet of water, which is about the deepest part of that lake.
And Hogel was down there for quite a while.
Okay, thanks a lot, Mike.
A young black man has been sexually assaulting women on Milwaukee's east side. At least 4, maybe 5 incidents reported in the past week. The most recent victim, who was raped in her car outside her apartment this morning, described her attacker as 25 years old, 5'7" to 5'9", 140 pounds, short, natural hair. Police say the repeated use of a weapon and the time of the attacks, usually midnight to 3 a.m., point to the likelihood that one man is responsible for several rapes. 17 hours of deliberations and one bomb scare interruption later, still no verdict from the jury in the John DeLorean dope case. When the jury retired at the end of day 4 today, they had an interesting day. Whoever phoned in the bomb threat at the courthouse demanded that cocaine and marijuana be legalized.
Vietnam veterans suffering from the effects of Agent Orange were told today they stand little chance, if any, of winning their court fight against a group of chemical companies. The comments are noteworthy since they come from the attorney representing the Vietnam vets. David Patrick reports on a public hearing held in Chicago today on a proposed out-of-court settlement.
And we are also going up against some of the biggest corporations in the world. And we must remember our lessons from Vietnam. We must be patient. We must persevere. We must not settle for less.
The testimony in the street is as emotional and sometimes technical as it was in court today. Federal Judge Jack Weinstein has taken the novel approach of holding public hearings throughout the country. For every heart-rending appeal to reject the settlement, there is one equally compelling in favor of accepting the offer. Dan Ford is one of 9 original plaintiffs in the suit. He says he's terminally ill. He believes the settlement should be accepted.
I truly believe that my cancer was caused by the dioxin in the Agent Orange. By their offering $180 million, in reality, they are saying, you know, this is compensation for the bad product we made.
Those who disagree with Ford say the offer is too small for the estimated 10 to 120,000 who may make claims. Some vets also want to see guilt or liability established. The chemical companies have not admitted wrongdoing. The veteran's lead attorney says it would be hard to prove.
I testified this morning that I was in favor of the settlement, primarily on the basis that there is a substantial risk of these guys getting nothing, and I would think that would be a national tragedy.
It's just a case of Vietnam vets getting kicked in the rear again, as far as I'm concerned. The lawyers took the case. They promised us that it would go to court, and when they saw a chance to make some quick bucks on our blood, they took it.
Despite the division among veterans, all seem to agree on one thing. Judge Weinstein is the best man to hear this case. Ultimately, it will be his decision on whether to accept or reject the settlement. David Patrick, Channel 12 Action News, Chicago.
Both the veterans and the chemical companies involved are suing the federal government. Seat belts in Ford Motor Company cars with non-reclining front seats could break during a crash. so the company is now recalling almost 362,000 cars. The recall includes 360,000 1981 to 83 Escort and Lynx four-door sedans and station wagons, and 1,900 1984 Tempo and Topaz four-door sedans. The automaker says it will install foam spacers on the sides of the front seats to prevent damage to those seat belts.
You know, if I didn't hear this on the news, I'm not sure I'd believe it, but AT&T has been given federal permission to block credit card calls from parts of this country to foreign locations where dope deals are often made. The problem is so many people in busy places like airports are having their phone credit card numbers stolen and used by, the government believes, dope dealers.
If you're making a call, let's say, in a location that is public, you want to be sure that people do not overhear you giving the number to the operator if you do that. Or be sure that you don't leave the number where somebody can see it, because they can take that number and make use of it.
So calls from certain, obviously unpublished parts of this country simply will not be put through to Colombia, Brazil, Mexico, El Salvador, Greece, Iran, and Iraq if the caller is trying to use a credit card. Dan?
Quite a bit of attention given to this over the weekend, so we wanted to let you know that 11-year-old Artavia Howard of Milwaukee, reported missing on Wednesday of last week, has been found, and she is okay. Police say they found the girl playing in a park at 24th and Lisbon. She apparently ran away from home after having a disagreement with her mother.
Milwaukee Fire and Police Commission begins its final interviews for a police chief in a couple of weeks, the week of the 27th, actually. As we've told you, the list of finalists has now been reduced to 3. To learn more about them now, we have a series of interviews this week. Scott Feldmeyer tonight interviews Racine Police Chief James Carvino.
James Carvino spent 22 years with the New York Police Department. He commanded a drug unit, also worked in the commissioner's office before becoming chief in Racine 7 years ago. Although he is not a member of the Milwaukee Police Department, he says his experience as a chief is what counts.
I'm basically a known quantity as an administrator. I've proven that over 29 years in law enforcement. But I don't owe anybody anything in Milwaukee. I have no axe to grind with anyone up there, and I'm not tied to anything.
What is your perception of the Milwaukee Police Department today?
Well, I think it's a good department. I don't know much about the department. I haven't worked in it except what I read. From what I read, I gather that there are some internal problems in the area of management and relations with the rank and file. I feel there are some problems in the area of community relations, and press relations for that matter.
Carvino says he developed a strong community relations program in Racine and a block watch program. He helped lower the accident rate, he says, and revise the Racine police managerial and administrative process. At his urging, police records were computerized. If selected in Milwaukee, he says his first duties would include familiarizing himself with the department and its many veteran officials, extending confidence to them, he said.
For example, I would want to take a look at their organizational chart, their current existing policies and procedures, standard operating procedures, general orders, the types of things that are keeping the department running now. I guess the second most important thing to me would be immediately to start beginning to get to know my people. Because people run it, the chief doesn't run it alone, people run it.
Carvino also expects he'll have to get involved in the Common Council's work on next year's budget as one of his first duties this fall. Scott Feldmeyer, Channel 12 Action News, Racine.
Still ahead on the news, to tax or not to tax.
And the suspected pipe bomber enters his plea. We'll be right back.
I think I'll take this one. Would you like that gift wrap? No, thanks. It's just for me.
Nice.
Cash or charge? Check. I'll need 2 forms of ID. Oh, and Line MasterCard, too. It works just like a check.
You mean the money comes right out of your checking account?
Just like a check.
Convenient. I could use one of those.
You should get one. You better add this umbrella, too. Elan MasterCard, too. Checking will never be the same.
Kohl's back-to-school sale, and some guys got it made. With Kohl's entire stock of regular-priced athletic shoes, including Nike, Atonic, Adidas, Brooks, and Pony, all at 20% off. He'll get it done with Canon's electric typewriter, sale priced at $199.99. He cannot live by study alone. Therefore, Gold Star's 12-inch TV on sale, $52.99. Well, some guys almost got it made.
Kohl's, oh, how we value our customers. Kohl's.
Crime Line Anonymous, your chance to help fight crime. If you have any information that might help solve a crime, call Crime Line Anonymous at 1-800-73-CRIME.
You thought it was over, but they're back for the summer of '84. Crab Legs 2 at Red Lobster. Order any entree, and for only $3, you get Crab Legs 2. It's a blockbuster. 1/2 pound of irresistible snow crab legs. It's the big deal of the summer. It's Crab Legs 2. Premiering now at a Red Lobster near you. You can't afford to miss it.
From 9 to 90, it's the fastest growing competitive sport in the country. League trap shooting, the safest sport in the world for men, women, and children. Join a league now at Foxhorn's Big Muskego Gun Club, the world's largest league trap shooting club located on Big Muskego Lake. Compete at any level, anytime, at your convenience. You'll discover trap shooting is fun, competitive, recreational, and offers a healthy new way to relieve stress in your life. Join a trap shooting league today. Call Foxhorns now, 425-0337. A great way to meet new friends.
Earl Stephen Carr, the pipe bomb placer of earlier this summer, or so police believe. He has entered pleas of innocent and innocent by reason of mental illness today. The charges of putting bombs in several cities. Carr's mental condition will be evaluated in September.
I didn't do anything wrong. I don't feel I did. I feel the attack is unwarranted.
How do you feel about going to St. Peter?
Well, I'm a little more used to mental hospitals than jails, so I feel more at home.
Carr says not only is he innocent, but he believes the charges against him are some sort of attack on him as a person. Dan?
Next week at this time, we'll be watching the Republicans go through their paces, nominating Ronald Reagan and George Bush. Today, the Republican Party Platform Committee arrived in Dallas. Its main concern, the economy and taxes. Here's Wisconsin Senator Robert Caston.
The whole idea that, you know, if we try and still are unable to balance the budget, then we will move toward tax increases, is one that most Republican delegates reject. They want to keep the pressure on the spending side of the budget.
The Platform Committee says it has no intention of fighting the president, but President Reagan is already on record against any tax increase. Well, there was record trading on the stock exchange last week, and the hot stock market is heating up a lot of interest by investors. As business reporter Marcia Starles explains, there's more than one way to play the game.
A busy and bullish stock market attracts a lot of investors, but not just to buy stocks, but to buy options on those stocks. An option, just like on a piece of real estate, can give you the right to buy or sell a certain amount of stock at a certain date in the future. The advantage, options are a lot less expensive than stocks, but you can trade them like stocks. For example, say you like XYZ Corp. It, say, is priced at $30 a share, and you think it's going to go higher. Instead of buying the stock, you could buy an option on XYZ Corp for just $2 a share, which means that while it would cost you $3,000 to buy 100 shares of stock, for only $200, you can control the same amount of stock through options.
So you still have the full upside reward potentials as if you own the stock, but you're limiting your downside risk to the $200 you paid for the option.
But if some people say the stock market is for gamblers, then the options markets are surely for the high rollers. It can be very risky. It can also be very profitable.
It's not unusual in markets like we're seeing in the last couple of days to see people make 2 or 3 times their money in a day, or even less in some cases. At the same time, the risks are involved that you could lose 100% of your investment in a relatively short amount of time.
Because options can be so volatile, you have to be a pretty sophisticated investor, and a pretty strong stomach helps too. Marcia Starles, Channel 12 Action News.
Dan was talking a minute ago about the Republican convention down in Dallas. Are we going to get into the heat but out of the ragweed down there, you suppose?
You're going to get a lot of both.
Oh, great.
Nowhere in the, sorry, Jerry. Nowhere in the nation, with the exception of extreme northern Maine, will escape this ragweed season. Looks pretty bad everywhere. Doctors suggest you use your antihistamines now. Of course, stay indoors, out of the outdoor air. That makes sense. And use air conditioning indoors. Let the air conditioner circulate the indoor air. Pollen count today, 4. Mold count, 29, which, as you can see on the scale, is pretty good. We had dry conditions across most of the Midwest and rather pleasant air, mild and dry everywhere in the Great Lakes. upper Ohio Valley. Some very heavy rains in the northeast, few scattered storms to the south, and real hot weather out west. Temperatures out west of here in the Plain States reached the mid-90s to the 100-degree mark from Kansas and Nebraska all the way up into the Dakotas. Looks like real warm weather moving our way. I'll have the forecast in just a couple of minutes.
See a doctor immediately. Walk in without an appointment, and a doctor will see you within minutes, assisted by a professional staff in a fully equipped facility. Be treated for any minor illness or accident and be on your way home within the hour. Now there's some place besides a hospital emergency room that provides immediate medical care 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Now there's MedAccess, open 7 days a week, every day of the year.
An affiliate of the Mount Sinai Medical Center. Whether you buy one suit a year or a dozen, there's one sale you can't afford to miss. Con semi-annual half-price clearance sale. Extraordinary half-price savings on thousands of suits, sport coats, and outerwear. Suits made to sell for $165 are now $82.50. Sport coats made to sell for $135 are now $67.50. Quality clothing is always affordable at Cons, but now the values are truly spectacular at Cons semi-annual half-price clearance sale. You can't afford to miss it. Hurry in today.
Get to the bottom of high energy costs. Your home can lose up to 22% of its heat right here through an uninsulated foundation. Now you can do something about it with this do-it-yourself kit from Dow. Begin with performance-proven Styrofoam brand insulation over the foundation and finish with Styrofoam brand foundation coating. It's easy. So get to the bottom of high energy costs. Look for this special kit from Dow. Call for the dealer nearest you.
Kohl's back-to-school sale, and you're looking great in Levi's denim jeans. Sale priced at Kohl's, $13.99 for men, $11.99 for boys. Get your Levi's jeans at Kohl's. They've got the best selection and prices. Keep trying. Guess he's waiting in Levi's denims. Kohl's entire stock of Missy's and Junior sizes at $5 off. Hey, we knew nothing would stand in your way.
Kohl's, oh how we value our customers. Kohl's.
Well, I hope you really enjoyed the last few days. Enjoyed all the warm and humid air. Actually mild and less humid air, I should say, because the warm and the humid air is moving in for late tomorrow and through the rest of the week. 67 right now at Timmerman and Mitchell Field. 52 the dew point. Humidity 59. That's rather less humid. Calm winds. The barometer holding steady. Around the rest of southeastern Wisconsin, 66. Here at Channel 12, a 65 at Port Washington, 68 degrees. Sheboygan, 67 both at West Bend, Waukesha, and Watertown. Look at the satellite. Not much to show you across the midsection of the country. Mostly clear skies across the Plain States into the Ohio Valley. Just a few dying showers. Out in western Wisconsin, that's about it. Big high pressure system pumping in that mild and dry air. We still have that northeast wind bringing in the dry air from Canada, but that high will be moving to the east over the next couple of days, bringing in more humid air as the high begins to situate to the east of Wisconsin, giving us the southerly winds on the backside, and that will bring in humidity and more warm air from the Plain States. So for tomorrow, sunny and more humid. Temperatures getting up mainly into the 80s to low 80s everywhere across the state. And it looks like more humidity sneaking in by afternoon. Now the detailed Weather Service 12 forecast. Tonight, mostly clear skies, cool and dry air. Winds will remain southerly at about 3 to 10, low 58 comfortable degrees for tonight. Tuesday, sunny, warm. Just a bit more humid, high 84, but cooler at the lakeshore. And into Wednesday, partly sunny, warm, and much more humid. Southerly winds, high 86. And the rest of the week, warm and humid. Thunderstorms are possible Thursday or Friday. Highs in the 80s. Maybe we may see a 90 sometime later this week. And if you're wondering about the remainder of the 30 days right through September 15, cooler in the south, but look at Wisconsin. Greater than 65% chance it'll be warmer right through mid-September. Now back to Jerry, who likes warm weather.
Don't I just? Listen, the famous Air Force show team called the Thunderbirds are once again set to perform. The team will perform in Northern California this weekend. First show since a fatal crash in the desert out there 2.5 years ago claimed the lives of many of their original pilots. But there's a certain spirit and a certain emotion which one feels anytime this aerial team performs.
See an awful lot of people with a lot of tears in their eyes. And for a short period of time, we have many come up to us and say, we can't tell you how proud we are to be Americans.
Rode with them one time. It is pretty thrilling stuff.
Great stuff, yeah. Well, Brewers were riding high off the White Sox, but not tonight.
No, they ran into the Minnesota Twins. Twins playing great baseball right now. They could be the surprise of the whole baseball world. Their streak of 3 wins stopped this evening as the surprising Twins do it again, this time over the Milwaukee Brewers.
The New Life Center at Family Hospital was first in Milwaukee to offer 30 personalized alternatives to conventional childbirth, like granting your doctor temporary privileges so you can deliver at family, certified nurse midwives, having your baby with you and your family as often as you like. That's why thousands of families choose family. Here you have all the security of a hospital and the special feeling of home.
It's Boston Store's preseason fashion sale. The more you buy, the more you save. Just pick your fashion category and go on a shopping spree. Choose from sportswear and dresses, junior fashions, shoes, fashion accessories, or children's apparel. You'll save 20, 25, even 30%. The more you buy, the more you save at Boston Store's preseason fashion sale. Now through Saturday only. And remember,
your best buy is at Boston Store. This bag of groceries was purchased at a leading conventional Milwaukee supermarket. This bag of groceries was purchased at a Cub food store. Each bag contains the same number of items, the same size items, and the same brand names. They're identical, except for the price. The Cub price is $3.23 less. Is it worth it to change stores just to save a few dollars a bag? Well, I guess it depends on how many bags of groceries you buy in a month.
Right now at Milwaukee Optical, get eyeglasses worth up to $120 for just $59.95. No strings attached. No strings to choose from hundreds of frame styles. You still pay $59.95. No strings for solid tints. No strings for oversized or plastic lenses. Even for strong prescriptions. It's all still $59.95 at Milwaukee Optical. Ooh, there is one little string. If you don't hurry, you may miss this sale.
Well, things were looking up for the Milwaukee Brewers tonight. They took a 3-game winning streak and their hottest pitcher into this evening's game at the Metrodome, but the AL Western Division leaders spoiled the big party. All the damage came in a 5-run 4th inning. Brewers led 1-0 before this 426-foot home run by Ken Herbig gave the Twins the lead for good. It was his 19th of the year. The guy is playing hot. Then the next batter, Randy Bush, follows with his 9th round tripper. Minnesota now leads idle California by 2 full games. It was Milwaukee losing to Minnesota by a score of 5-1. Baltimore 2, Toronto 1, Chicago over Texas 5-3. Took 11 innings, but Cleveland knocked out New York 6-5. Kansas City 6, Boston 1 over the National League. It was the Cubbies losing to Houston by a score of 2-1. In that ball game went all the way to the 9th inning before Jerry Mumphrey singled up the middle and Jose Cruz rounds from second where he had stolen the base just 2 pitches earlier, and he comes in with a winning run, 2-1. Double tough loss because you're going to take a look at Ryan Sandberg getting hurt on this play. They don't know how long he's going to be out. Cubs don't need that. Elsewhere, Cincinnati is a loser so far, I should say, 5-3 at the end of 8 to St. Louis. Well, the Brewers didn't have much offense this evening, but it did look like a new batting coach, Frank Robinson, made a difference over the weekend as they scored 18 runs in the last 2 games of their sweep against the Chicago White Sox.
A different ball club with some different people here than 2 years ago, but the nucleus of that ball club is still here, and the people that they depending on is still here. And some of them are having good years, and some of them are having off years. Good by some other standards, but not by theirs. And what my job is now is to try to get them back in the groove to produce and do what they're capable of doing.
He mainly is a philosophical hitting coach, if that's the right terminology, but he doesn't mess with your stroke too much, from what I can tell, but he wants you to get a good idea what you want to do at the plate and hit a good pitch and don't swing any balls.
Well, the Packers are now 1-1 for the exhibition season after their win here Saturday night over the Chicago Bears. But Randy Wright is 2-0. He had another strong game, completing 5 of 7 passes for 76 yards.
Every time I go out there, I'm still learning so much from even practices, and then you learn so much more from games that the more I can get out there and the more I do stuff, the more I get experience, the more comfortable I feel with what I'm doing. And when you feel more comfortable, the confidence is going to build, and you're going to start learning different things that you can store back in the back of your mind, and they're going to come out and help you as time goes on. So I'm still still learning a lot, but the more you learn, the more you feel comfortable, and then the more you relax and the more confidence you have.
How did you feel about the ovation and the hand that you got when you were introduced in front of the Wisconsin fans?
Oh, it made me feel very, very good. It made me feel really proud and happy that I'm here, and I hope things can continue to work out so I can stay here for quite a while.
Okay, the Packers today waived running back Rich Tomaselli, put Mike McCoy and Ken Walter on the injured reserve list. Forrest Gregg has until tomorrow afternoon to trim the roster to 70. Right now they stand at 72, 50 vets and 22 rookies. Greater Milwaukee Open gets underway exactly 1 month from today, so it was time for a smaller tournament to get some of the spotlight. But the State Assistant Golf Pro Championship isn't all that small. It's worth $15,000. That purse makes it the third largest in the state of Wisconsin.
All these guys are excellent players from all over the state, and a lot of them are in the state open, and should be interesting. What can you say? I made a few putts, missed a few, but had a good day.
This year is a lot stronger than it was last year. We've got a lot of new assistants in the area, so the scores are pretty low this year.
Top four finishers: Fritz Gambetta, $135. He picked up $1,900. Doug Bauman, $130, $1,400. Ed Teresa and Greg Morley were tied for third, $1,150. And just a side note in sports, on this day back in 1969, the Cubs led the New York Mets by 9 1/2 games. And we'll all remember what happened to Chicago that time. That was terrible. We hope they don't choke again this year.
I remember Jack Brickhouse crying all the way through September. Yeah.
So do I.
Thanks a lot, Tom. We have some other sports-related news. Milwaukee County officials today unveiled a multi-million-dollar plan to improve County Stadium. Officials want to add a restaurant, a fan club, a beer garden, a new lobby, and an atrium. Plans also call for VIP suites with bars and upholstered armchairs. And we're told those little VIP suites and seats would cost up to $35,000 a year.
Oh, baseball's serious stuff, Dan.
Maybe you'd get to watch a football game or two, I hope.
We'll hold the sports theme right up through the end of the show.
I love Capital Cars.
It must be the shops, the fashions, or the ice cream.
Or the magical anniversary sale, Wednesday through Sunday.
It seems the bargain basement food stores are also trying to defy the laws of groceries by telling you their quality is up. One taste shows they fall way short of Kohl's. You see, it took Kohl's years to be first in line with the country's top producers. And let's be honest, it took Kohl's a while to bring prices down. But now there's Kohl's too, where quality is up and the prices are down.
Kohl's to the best food store in town. New low prices all around.
The next edition of Our Magazine is especially for lovers with Joan Collins.
The only thing that matters in my life was the man in my life, or the life in my man.
Plus, seducing your husband the romantic way.
There are really 3 secrets to great lovemaking.
How to choose the right cruise. And Jose Hebert's romantic hairstyles. You'll love the next edition of Our Magazine. 3 o'clock Tuesday on Channel 12.
To serve you better, Wisconsin Gas is moving its downtown customer center to the new Federal Plaza. Blue Flame, Blue Building. Wisconsin Gas.
Members of the U.S. Olympic team were up early this morning having breakfast with President Reagan. The President and the First Lady congratulated the athletes on winning 174 medals, and then they, in turn, were made honorary team members, got red blazers and everything. The President told them that they showed America is truly a nation of champions.
Champions. You're heroes, every one of you, living proof of what happens when America sets its sights high, and you gave us moments that we'll never forget.
More ceremonies honoring the team are planned, including one in the nation's capital tomorrow, and then the ticker tape parade with real live ticker tape in Manhattan on Wednesday.
The Olympics were a lot of fun this year.
I've watched more sports in the last 2 weeks than I did in the last 40 years, and I loved it.
And now you know everything about it, right?
Pretty much. You want to ask a couple of questions, I'll see what I can.
Later. Have a good night.
And better tomorrow.
The gymnastics now. You want to talk?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, nice.